Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a grid for our first Senior Max qualification heat. On the front row, it is Reese Hunter, alongside will be Belgium's Ilian Brunsils. Lewis Gilbert will have Patrick Rundqvist for company on row number 2, ahead of Kai Hunter, Mads Rees, Teddy Clinton, Jason Lockwood, with Storm Breuer and Andreas Herbert rounding out the top 10. We also have Ben Davis and Emily de Hoys on row number 6 with Felix Vargier and Felix Jansson. The two Felixes rounding out row number 7. Ahead of Christian Coyer, Sam Harrison from the UK rounding out row 8. Ahead of Leroy Jägersar, Arthur Horsch, James Lowther, Henri Jong, Brasm Ossevaarde, Vincent van Kerkhoffen rounding out the top 11 rows. Ahead of Danny Kreuz, Anthony Overbeek, Marcus Radney, Clementine Benoit, Pieter Jan Bollen, Fabian Bock, Luca Den Hartog, Antoine Antier, and Hayden Cater set to be in 31st position, having not been able to set a time during qualifying earlier on this morning. So again, for this particular qualifying heat, again, it will be 7 minutes plus 1 additional lap. So now it's going to be time for the drivers, 30 or 31 of them. Just keeping an eye out for seeing if Hayden is at the back of the grid. Now it's time to get the rolling start formation underway, the final stage of it, as a matter of fact. 2x2 rolling start formation, customary in Rotax racing circles. As they come round turn 12. On pole, it is Hunter. Brunsils from Belgium alongside, ahead of Gilbert, Rundqvist, Hunter, Rees, Clinton, Lockwood, Breuer, and Herbert. Do we go lights out? Yes, we do. And they head and stream down into turn 1. Brunsils steals the march on Rees Hunter and takes the initial advantage. Oh, we've got a spinner at the back. We've got more. Make that 3. So that's close. All 3 carts have managed to rejoin, however, and look to be in the mid-pack where the first, let's say, track expeditionist, when it comes to the grass, went flying off sideways, and it's nearly 4 abreast. Further down the order, going into turn 7, that's incredibly close, and I know that you can't make it 3 wide in turn 7 unless 3 drivers want to prove otherwise to me. I've never seen it come out right for anybody that's gone side by side, 3 wide in turn 7. So Brunsils leads from Rees Hunter. Rundqvist looks to be in 3rd position at the moment. And behind him is Lewis Gilbert in the 329. No, that's Mads Rees. Rees has got the jump on Lewis Gilbert initially. So Mads Rees up in the who's running in the 369 in Senior Max this weekend, ahead of Gilbert. Then you've also got Kai Hunter, Jason Lockwood, Andreas Herbert. So there's been quite a few changes. Teddy Clinton is in 18th place. And it looks like Felix Jansson, Henri Jong, and Clementine Benoit might have been those that went off. And I think that, well, Felix Jansson was on row 7. So that's a real disaster for the Swede in this early goings in the qualifying stages this first round. And looked like Gilbert was getting very, very feisty, trying to throw one up the inside of Mads Rees going into turn 10, but had to back out of it as the leaders come round to complete another lap. 5 minutes and 10 plus an additional lap to go. We're now on to lap number 3. As Kai Hunter sets the fastest lap of anybody. 54.641 for the driver from the UK, currently in 6th position. 1.6 seconds off of the leader, which just so happens to be one of Belgium's very own Ilian Brunsils, who celebrated his 16th birthday just over a month ago. And it looks, unfortunately, that Hayden Cater was a non-starter, I believe, so didn't make it onto the grid. So, at the moment, it is a battle between Brunsils and Rees Hunter for the lead. Patrick Rundqvist is in third position. Just wondering if there's been a change. Yes, Lewis Gilbert has got past Mads Ries. So Gilbert now back up into fourth position. And looks like Kai Hunter's going to go side by side nearly with Mads Ries going into turn one. Had to back out of it, slot in behind. And we'll have the run on the young Dane who's graduated from Junior Max from 2018. And is Hunter going to size him up for a move? As Gilbert gets past Rundqvist. Gilbert gets past Rundqvist for third place. But Rundqvist already back on the offensive. Taps the Scott on the back bumper from behind, which pushes Gilbert forward and allows him to have the advantage going into turn 7. As it's too wide, a little bit further towards the last third of the grid. So Cater non-starting on this particular heat. He'll be on the comeback trail, hopefully, as the 388 of Stormbro is getting very feisty with Jason Lockwood. So Stormbro had to actually back out of it and lost a position in the process to Christian Kuijer from the Netherlands. So Brouwer now down into 10th position, has firmly got Ben Davis on the back bumper. So Brunseel's lead over Reese Hunter was just over 2.5 tenths of a second last tour around. As Gilbert is not out of the woods quite yet. He's still got Patrick Rundqvist as Mads Ries has lost out and has lost out to Kai Hunter. So Kai's now up into 5th position. And Stormbro is coming under intense competition from Ben Davis from the UK in the 386. And the switch has been made. So Stormbro drops out of the top 10 with Davis getting the initial advantage coming out of the final corner. Meanwhile, looks like Reese Hunter has closed the gap on Ilian Brunseels. It's just over 3 tenths of a second. Gilbert in 3rd. Rundqvist, Kai Hunter, Mads Ries, Andreas Herbert, Jason Lockwood, Christian Kuijer and Ben Davis now round out the top 10 in this first Senior Max qualifying heat, groups A and B. As there's some further changes for position. James Lowther now up into 15th. Teddy Clinton and Artur Horsch now up into 21st and 22nd respectively. Ari Young now back up into 27th position. As leader's about to complete another lap. Looks like we'll be going on to lap number 7. 1 minute and 30 on the clock, plus an additional lap to go. Brunseel's lead is still around about 3 tenths of a second ahead of Reese Hunter. Lewis Gilbert is a further round about 4.5 tenths adrift, but that gap could be closing. Then you've got quite literally a bit of a train starting to form up. It could be the Brunseel's train, not the Trulli train, as Jarno Trulli was very well renowned for in Formula 1 and also Formula E way back when. But Brunseel's lead could be under threat here. But it's not just Reese Hunter he's got to worry about, because Lewis Gilbert from Persistence Motorsport, and that's what he's being right now, persistent is the 329 from the UK. Then there's Rundqvist, Kai Hunter and Mads Ries. Top 6 separated by just under 2 seconds. As, oh, here we go. Hunter's sizing up Rundqvist and makes the move up the inside of the first part of turn 12. Rundqvist tries to get the toe, goes back side by side, retakes the position nice and cleanly. As, well, the ding-dong battle between Reese Hunter and Lewis Gilbert is well and truly on, because Mads Ries has now latched onto the back bumper of Kai Hunter, who's behind Patrick Rundqvist. So Ries still could be in for a top 4 finish. But then you've got to think about the 3 leaders. Brunseel's still keeping it under control. His gap extended to Reese Hunter to just over 4 tenths of a second. Lewis Gilbert is now really trying to muscle in as there's more changes. Mads Ries has just gotten past out of the corner of my eye, past Patrick Rundqvist. That is for 5th position. So the young Dane, who's sporting his national colours with pride on his race suit, now up into 5th. Can he start closing up on Kai Hunter? Well, it's this lap to go. Final lap in Senior Max qualifying heat A and B. And the move has happened. Gilbert has done it. and was waiting for the time to strike, kept the persistent, motivational opportunity of an overtake and threw it past Reese Hunter into turn number 2. But it's still all to play for as Brunsils is getting away now. Over 5.5 tenths was the gap between himself and Reese Hunter on the last lap. Around the 1,360 metre circuit here at Karting Genk. But there's just a few corners remaining. And through turn number 11 comes Ilian Brunsils, 3:08 from Belgium, to have a clean lead and have no real challenge, and takes the win in Senior Max qualifying heat groups A and B ahead of Lewis Gilbert. You then also had Reese and Kai Hunter rounding out the top 4. So 3 Brits in the top 4 there. Mads Reese makes it a 3rd different nationality in the top 5, finishing in 5th, with it being another one for Patrick Rundqvist in 6th, another one for Andreas Herbert in 7th position. So in the top 7 places, we had 5 different nationalities represented. Jason Lockwood and Ben Davis and Storm Breuer rounded out the top 10, all separated by just under 6 seconds at the flag. Christian Kuya was 11th ahead of Emily de Hoys. Felix Varget would finish in 13th, exactly where he was positioned on the grid, ahead of Bram Ossevarda. James Lowther rounded out the top 15, ahead of the Netherlands' very own Leroy Jägersar. Sam Harrison and Teddy Clinton with Arthur Horsch and Fabian Bock rounded out the top 20, ahead of Anthony Overbeek, Vincent van Kerkhoven, Henri Jung, Antoine Antier, Felix Jansson, Luca Den Hartog, Danny Kroes, Marcus Radney, Clementine Benoit and Pieter Jan Bollen rounding out the 30 that started and also finished